perfect. This creates the perfect financial tool for drug dealers and for tax evaders.
I yield to the gentleman an additional 15 seconds.
The gentleman is recognized for 15 more seconds.
It creates the perfect financial tool for drug dealers and tax evaders, because every time a billionaire cheats on his taxes, a member of the Freedom Caucus earns his wings. I yield back.
Hey, everybody. It's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. And that opener, the intro, that's Brad Sherman. Yeah, he's absolutely been on the wrong side of history, I think, from the beginning. And it's probably not going to end too pretty for him. He represents California's districts and down in the LA area, first entering Congress in 1997, a total of 13 terms. This is why this needs to end. And I promise you, I'm not going to ruin the start of this video, but I do have a clip from Elizabeth Warren, who also chimed in, and she just has the most absurd remarks. But instead, I want to get into what's litty. FLR is lit. Yes, we've seen a breakout. You're going to see a lot of talk, too, about XRP and FLR this run. Why? Because of XRP Fi. And you can see the green highlight is on the 24-hour, and the yellow is on the 7-day. Now, this was just a few moments ago. Take a look at FLR now. Still climbing, up now 19.74% on the 24-hour. The volume is really spiking too. You've got an increase of 324%. And Santiago Velez had a high conviction target post. He's talking about BTC and XRP at 120,000 for Bitcoin. It corresponds to an XRP value of $28. Now, he doesn't think that it's going to get that high, but even a third of that, it would yield a $9.41 asset. And wow, yes, it would be awesome for this cycle. This would be a new all-time high, of course. The 1/3 target would also correspond closely to the 4.236 Fibonacci extension on the XRP market cap at 59.5 billion circulating supply, suggesting strong confluence and probability of achieving the target. He gives a little bit of a heads up to BC Backer, which I know Santiago loves the content that comes out of Blockchain Backer. And I want to also give a shout out to BC Backer for all of his years of contributing to this ecosystem. Steadis posted a poster, the first community poster for the XRP ecosystem that dates to 2018. Oh boy, were we a tiny community. There was only 12 YouTube channels. And even at that time, you can see I was still sporting a Bitcoin logo because I was originally a Bitcoin channel. Well, I can tell you that the ones who were in the community that didn't show up on this poster, it wasn't because Steadis did a pick and choose. No, he asked everyone who wanted to be on the poster to email him. So I know the community was a slightly larger than this, but still, it's really fun to see some of the old logos. And there's a lot of people, too, who have disappeared. I think it required a tremendous amount of fortitude to stay in the space because, man, oh man, did we have a hard road with the lawsuit that came from the SEC. But we made it and we have come out to the other side. And finally, I think we are going to enjoy all those fruits of labor. So at the time of this recording, we've got Bitcoin trading at 118,657. You can see XRP in the top 36 by market cap is still going strong at $3.28. It has an 8.56% gain on the 24-hour. And yes, there's a lot of mixed movement this morning. The Bitcoin dominance remains high, yet we've got altcoins that are starting to show great strength. And unlike past cycles, Bitcoin's position in these new ETFs and coming on to company treasuries and absolutely this steady stream of increased interest, I think it may continue to have a high dominance as the altcoins still will fire up. I'm observing it, and I think it's possible we're going to have a unique, meaning I don't think we're going to see Bitcoin drop down into the high 30 percentiles or the low 40s. I think it's going to stay around that 50 percentile, and it's going to still allow those altcoins to run. I just do think it is going to show a little bit of a differentiating correlation this cycle. There's a big spike in volume in the last 24 hours for the Ripple stablecoin RLUSD. Look at the percentage gain, up 841%. And Doppler Finance explained in an article that came out from the Token Economist that the first DeFi platform to bring yield to XRP and the ledger is going to be working with the RLUSD stablecoin. And previously it needed a bridge, but that is not going to be the case. You won't have to go to an external chain with Doppler. They're going to offer that service to earn yield natively in the XRP ledger. Those proof of reserves are able to be seen in an attestation with the Fireblocks and Sifu professional custody holders that they use. And so if you're interested in this XRP Fi, this is just another great solution. The Link 2 case just seems to get messier. We've got Steven Narioff stepping into that Link 2 case to stop what appears to be an attempt at a well-crafted bankruptcy to seize customer assets. This came out in the Yahoo Finance News in the form of a press release. About 19 hours ago, there was a new video that was uploaded with Vitalik Buterin. I haven't seen this sort of sit-down, in-depth interview with Vitalik for a while. I do enjoy listening to him. He is one of the bright minds in the space, and it's about an hour long, but I just clipped a very, very short, like 45-second clip for you to show you that prediction markets, and I happen to agree with what he thinks here, is really the only breakout case after DeFi that is being adopted by mainstream. And yeah, I find it fascinating. Have a listen.
Even in prediction markets, another example, like they've basically gone from theory to being reality. And the thing that I love about prediction markets is how
Polymarket was like the #1 app in the App Store. Yeah,
like it gets mainstream support and attention, even from the types of people who normally think crypto is a scam. Like the types of US political intellectuals that normally just like dismiss crypto and think of it as failed, like they are the same people retweeting Polymarket screenshots, right? And so like that's like also been like probably the first breakout other than kind of classical DeFi that we've seen in a long time. So
I'm going to leave you with a wrap up in this video with the words from Elizabeth Warren. Now, I know you're probably saying to yourself, I don't need to listen to this woman, but actually she represents still a voice that's coming from a portion of the US Congress. And so if you really want to understand the entire space and the positions that people are taking, you have to know the other side. As the art of war preaches, be close to your friends, but closer to your enemies. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.
Senator, I'd like to switch gears here as we have this conversation over in the other chamber. There is a vote still open in the House to try to pass a procedural hurdle to move forward with a trio of pieces of crypto legislation, all part of Crypto Week, one being the Genius Act, the Stablecoin Bill, of course, the Clarity Act, which is a market structure bill, and some anti-CBDC legislation. While the House struggles to find a way forward, you would like to see none of these bills pass, correct? If the Clarity Act comes to the U.S. Senate, you would not be in support.
Look, I want to see us do strong crypto regulation. But what I don't want to do is see the United States government just sign off on very weak regulation that has been written by the industry. The problem with the stablecoin bill and the Clarity bill in particular is that they don't do anything about the Donald Trump corruption that is occurring right out in plain view. They also don't put enough safeguards in place for consumer protection, to make sure that terrorists and human traffickers and drug traffickers can't use the system, and guardrails to make sure that crypto isn't used to blow up our entire economy. So I'm very worried about that, but I want to add one more twist, and that is the Clarity bill has all those problems, but it also has a provision in it that would let any company listed on the New York Stock Exchange opt out of SEC regulation by just digitizing themselves, put themselves on the blockchain, and all of a sudden it turns out that Amazon or Meta or General Motors is no longer governed by the SEC. You do realize that literally would blow up the value of the New York Stock Exchange. That whole stock exchange has been a goose that has laid a lot of golden eggs for people in New York City, for people around the country and around the world. And this would basically just take a baseball bat to it by saying any company that doesn't want to have its books audited and make sure that it's following certain consumer protections and so on can just go somewhere else and be traded on the blockchain. There is nobody in Congress who should support that.